Well, you get woke, you go broke. These numbers to launch Assassin's Creed Shadows may be decent for any normal game, but for a AAA, expensive to produce game of this level, these are dismal. This is less than Dragon Age the Veilguard started out with. It is not growing. You could see the curve is not just going way upward and has a huge trajectory or anything like that. It's pretty wild what's going on with this game and why there is not so many people playing yet. This is a wild thing. You would expect this would be the biggest game ever, but they've had a lot of problems, and it's actually starting to show. The cracks are starting to show. Not on Metacritic, of course, because the game's just perfect according to everybody out there who's getting paid by Ubisoft. But we'll get into this in just a moment. I also talked to my Ubisoft insider at the company, just asking kind of what's going on over there, and so I've got a little information on that, which I'll give to you. So please hit the like and subscribe button and join us here as we talk about all things in the culture, especially with video games and fantasy like this. I'm a fantasy writer myself. I would love for you to check out my new book. It's called The Demon's Eye, and it's on Amazon right now. This is classic fantasy, good versus evil, strong male protagonist, none of the woke stuff that you're getting from Ubisoft. If you want a good read this weekend, better entertainment than you would get from Assassin's Creed Shadow, for sure, get this. It's only $4.99, and I appreciate you guys for supporting our channel and supporting our artistic works as well. All right, let's get into this news right here. As we can take a look right now on the Steam charts and see that it's not doing all that great. It is number one top seller, but that doesn't really mean very much. When you look at the top sellers on here, there's actually a couple free-to-play games in the top 5. And these are games like Overwatch 2, which have been out for a long time. Monster Hunter Wilds is up there as well, and Monster Hunter Wilds has been out for over a month. So it's the fact that there's not a lot of games out right now that puts us at number 1. It doesn't mean it's selling millions of copies right now, which is what they need. They need that to break even at the very least. And it's been abject panic over at Ubisoft for very good reasons. Now, IGN actually released this morning that there's a day 1 patch for Assassin's Creed Shadows, because now they're making it so that the tables and racks in temples and shrines are indestructible. This is something that everything was destructible. I didn't cover this earlier because I didn't really see this as a controversy like a lot of people did. I guess maybe the Japanese people were getting upset with some of the information on this that was coming out. But if you look at it, these games are always about destroying everything, and the more that you have an open world that you can actually do that sort of thing in, usually the better for games, right? And so I actually wasn't bothered by that, and so I didn't bother covering it, right? But apparently there was enough of a blowback that Ubisoft actually changed it in this day 1 patch. This is pretty interesting because when the controversy was hitting its stride about a month ago, and it was everywhere on the internet, every single channel was talking about it, they were saying this is a bad look. Of course, the Japanese gamers have been all anti-Ubisoft throughout this entire situation. They actually have a petition out there with more than 100,000 signatures to cancel the game because it's such a travesty, such a destructive force towards Japanese culture. Now, with this, this is kind of like their tacit admission that they did something wrong or pissed off Japanese players. If you remember, there was like an non-apology that Ubisoft gave back, during the original attempted release period, where they were saying that, we're doing our best for this, but it's a historical game, but it's fiction. You got to remember that. They did one of those type of non-apologies, which they totally backtracked because they actually boasted about its historical accuracy the entire way through here. So this is more of acquiescing to this sort of thing without actually apologizing, admitting that their game did wrong. And this is something that Ubisoft has a lot of these little controversies. It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts coming out here. Of course, the 1,000 paper cuts are nothing compared to like the wanton disrespect, homosexuality, just crazy nonsense that's in this game with Yasuke, hooking up with a they/them man, Naoi hooking up with a chick, Yasuke hooking up with a historical figure. Again, another big insult in Japanese history that's crazy. It's shocking that they went through here, but it isn't that shocking because my insider gave me this email from 2020 back from Ubisoft. This is their CEO. And it was sending this out. This is at the beginning of the development cycle for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and this is what they wanted to say. As I promised, I'm coming back to you to provide an update on the situation. We're going to give you an outline of our focus areas and actions. From the start of the crisis, I hear from you, and we could take stock of all the problems you're encountering and put together a plan to resolve them. More than 2,000 of you participated in listening sessions. Oh my gosh, that sounds like productive use of work. And nearly 14,000 responded to the anonymous independent survey to express yourself and share experiences for ideas and improvement. Accenture also conducted around 1,000 interviews and 40 focus groups on our culture and processes. Now, imagine how much money this all costs to Ubisoft. You want to talk about development costs here? What insanity that they're spending this kind of money on these types of surveys and interviews and things like that with DEI consultants. As they start making their game. 1,200 employees were heard as part of that. Thank you for the time. Our head of workplace culture, Linewide Sauer, and your managing director will schedule sessions to share some of the findings of these assessments. Overall, the results highlight 4 closely related areas we need to improve quickly. Number 1, guarantee a working environment where everyone feels respected and safe. 2, put diversity and inclusion at the heart of everything we do. 3, refocus and strengthen our HR function. 4, make managers of the groups accountable and empower them. It continues. Here's the diversity and inclusion section of this. The audit and survey shows that those of you who are part of minority groups are disproportionately affected by the issues of respect and safety. The percentage of women who reported experiencing, witnessing, or hearing discrimination, harassment, or inappropriate behavior was 30% higher than men on average. For non-binary employees, it was 43%. A group united by the same sense of belonging where every difference is welcome and celebrated by a much stronger group. This has always been my conviction. I'm determined we may become exemplary on the subject. I've met several high-quality candidates for the position of head of diversity and inclusion, whose role will be to orchestrate the sheer number of efforts in our group. Our choice will be made within 2 weeks. We hope this person can join us as soon as possible. So here we are. They're recruiting an anti-racism committee in the U.S. Oh, how exciting. Yasuke is all about that, as well as representatives of green forces. I found these exchanges enlightening, their effort to move Ubisoft forward in these topics motivating. We will work with your MDs to go further in this area to assist these virtuous ecosystems by giving them more support and resources. And their goal of ensuring women comprise at least 24% of Ubisoft's teams by 2023, compared to 22 today. This is maybe why Assassin's Creed Shadow is such a disaster. We are in a process of defining other KPIs to measure our progress in terms of diversity. Well, please clap, everybody. That's so exciting. So internally at Ubisoft right now, it's abject panic. Everybody is living in complete fear. Everybody thinks that they might lose their jobs at any given moment. They think if they say anything negative about Assassin's Creed Shadows, that they will lose their jobs as well. The management is going around enforcing what they call toxic positivity and just saying everything's fantastic, everything's great, everything's amazing, and that's what they're doing. They forced the diversity. They pushed it on the game. They revised everything as much as they could because they knew they had a train wreck on their hands, but they couldn't do much because the story's already pretty much ingrained in the game. It doesn't, according to any critics, upgrade anything of the Assassin's Creed experience, change anything. It's a big setting port of the same crap that you've already done, so there's nothing new or different about this that makes it worthwhile whatsoever. It's all just a diversity story. That's the only good thing you get out of this, if you're into that, I guess. Check yourself there. And so internally, they're saying that this is selling 5 million copies. And so 5 million copies is a pretty big number, and I think that's a break-even number. I don't think that's a great number for Ubisoft, incidentally, if that's actually true. But I don't know if it's actually true. With these Steam numbers, let's see. We'll refresh this right here. Really hasn't said much. No updates so far. But this doesn't look like a 5 million seller game right here. This was lower than Dragon Age the Veilguard on launch, and Dragon Age the Veilguard was not at 5 million early on, as we know. So this is pretty interesting right here to see exactly how big this is flopping, and it seems to be flopping more than we actually anticipated. I actually thought it would do decently just based off the brand name, but it doesn't appear that the brand name held much weight when you got your Black Samurai making out with dudes. All right. I had a meme for this last night. I wanted it to go viral, and it didn't, and I thought this was so funny. This is, of course, the Tom Cruise movie, and it's mocking just, of course, legendary historical figure Yasuke had sex with Nobunaga's sister. Yes, never lost a single battle. Talked about centuries later, invented homosexuality in Japan. Yes, he's a legend. All right, made up white savior, simped for some farmer's girl. Lost the only battle he fought in. Couldn't even get a video game made after him. Secretly wished he was gay. So funny. But oh well. Sometimes they just maybe it's just like too cynical of humor for people. I don't know. I like really, really dry humor myself. I don't know about you guys. Leave a comment down below what you think. Do you like this meme? Do you think it's funny? Hit the like and subscribe button. Really appreciate you. Do you also think that Ubisoft is going to be failing in this? Where do you think sales are going to land at? Let me know. And I appreciate hearing from all of you. And please, if you want to check out some fun fantasy, guys, this is great. A great book this weekend. It's in the description below, only $4.99. Grab it today. Support our channel. Support our efforts. This just came out this week as well, and I appreciate you guys. I had our biggest pre-order sales ever, so things are looking up over here, and it's great fantasy for your weekend. Thank you so much for reading. We'll be back soon.